Welcome back.
We're back!
We are so back.
We've never reviewed a Francis Ford Coppola movie on this channel before. Well, that's not even true. Wait, no, it is true.
Why would we have ever reviewed a
I'll
Francis
be
Ford
honest
Coppola?
for a second. I thought Silence was a Francis Ford Coppola movie.
You're auteur racist, dude.
Italian auteur racist.
yeah.
But yeah, today we saw a new movie.
Hot in theaters.
Literally saw the first showing
And it
on
was
opening
packed.
night.
There's like 11 people in there, including us.
So we saw Megalopolis today,
Heck yeah,
Francis Ford Coppola's newest masterpiece that he has been working on for over like 30 years or something crazy like that.
He's been trying to get it off the ground for 30.
He's been writing it slowly since the 80s.
And you can tell in a bad way.
You want to crack open his actual masterpiece?
Yeah, let's open it.
Oh yeah!
So in honor of Francis Ford Coppola, who I believe sold off some of his stakes in Coppola wine.
Yeah, he does
to
not
fund this
fully own
movie.
it anymore, right?
But yeah, we have this this premiere 2022 Pinot Noir.
Ooh, 2022, good year.
It's aged 2 years.
2 years. That probably cost you
That's
at
the perfect
least
amount of
$16.
18.
That's a fresh $18
Heck yeah,
bottle
dude.
of wine.
Well, and now that it's aged 2 years, it's probably worth like 20.
It's not, I didn't buy it 2 years, no.
That is how it works. Crack that baby open.
Oh, interesting. So apparently he just sold the wineries entirely.
Wow.
And that's a 2022, which was after the sale, so that is not a Coppola wine.
Please, I want to afford,
I want to afford Megalopolis.
I really want Adam
I
Driver.
want Adam Driver, and on top of that,
You know what it'll take.
I want John Voight. I can't have anybody else but John Voight.
John Voight was freed.
You know John Voight is free.
Yeah, John Voight didn't know he was on set, dude.
He was there for the pancakes for sure.
He had no idea that he was even being filmed. It should have
And
been.
every time they had to empty out a bottle of booze to have like set booze, he was like, "Well, you're just gonna dump that out."
Give it to me. Give it to me. Let me have it.
In honor of John Voight,
In honor of John Voight, who was not sober a single moment on camera.
are we not gonna birdie it? We're just going.
Why would we birdie it?
Okay.
Kevin's gonna spill more on his shirt, dude, if we birdie it.
Let me go before Keegan gets his disgusting mouth on it.
Right. Just for the first sip.
Yeah, you're not gonna go again? He's actually afraid of our germs, dude. He forgets the orgies happened.
You know, it tastes disgusting, but it sits pretty good.
Because you don't drink wine out of the bottle. This is the single worst way.
Do you not?
Bro, it's a twist off.
Do you want to get glasses, dude?
It is a twist off.
He already has glasses.
That was good. That was actually pretty
No,
good.
I like that.
I don't think you understand what he was laughing at.
Yeah, no, I heard your dumb joke, Keegan. I ignored it on purpose.
That is the single worst way to drink wine.
It's because you weren't putting your lips on it, dude. Gotta put your lips on it.
I also just did full mouthfuls.
Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to gargle it.
No.
Don't gargle it.
That was bad.
Much like Megalopolis.
I had a lot of thoughts going in. He kind of announced this movie years ago, and I was kind of excited about it. Because remember, he had his little Oscar showing, like he showed up at the Oscars with his boys. He showed up with Bobby D and
Right.
and Al Pacino. You were drunk, so that's why you're confused.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't remember that.
Well, we were all drunk. We were like, dude, shut up! This is the best filmmaker of all time. He's back. Look at him. He can speak.
Let him talk.
And it was very like a lot of people were like, what is this movie even going to be about? Like, this is crazy. Oh, he's paying for it himself. He's been trying to make this for years. So it's very exciting stuff. And I was kind of like, I'd say pre this year, I was like interested genuinely. Francis Ford Coppola's coming back with maybe a really good movie. It premiered at Cannes, and there was a lot of buzz about that.
I mean, there was the live performance that was included in the screening that everyone was talking about.
Early reviews were coming out, and I got way more excited than I already was because people were saying all kinds of things like it's a $100 million Neil Breen movie and things like that. And I was like, we have to review this. I was pushing for this review.
Sam
Alec was
Slade
fighting.
is the
Sam
reason
Slade is
that
the
this
reason we're here.
review happened. I had no fucking interest to see this movie. Francis Ford Coppola, he's like a legendary filmmaker, right? You know, like he's undeniably made some of the best movies ever made. Like The Godfather 1 and 2 are both
Undeniably one of the
masterpieces.
most respected directors
Yeah,
ever.
and Apocalypse Now is it's probably my favorite movie of his, and it's just a masterpiece. I love Apocalypse Now, and I love The Godfather.
And The Conversation.
And The Conversation, that's also a great movie. But he's one of those directors where it's like, yeah, he did those, and then he continued making movies.
He kind of just did whatever.
And it's okay. I don't hold it against him. A lot of directors have, and not just directors, but cinematographers and writers, you know, they'll have like their big hits, and then, you know, later in life, they end up just doing other shit, and it's not as good. Steven Spielberg has been doing it for 20 years, and every 5 minutes or so, he has a half-decent movie.
Steven Spielberg.
The wine is
Steven Spielberg.
That bottle's mostly empty right now.
Well, we've been sipping, dude. We've been sipping.
We've been chugging. What are you?
Yes, it's sipping meaning gulp, gulp, gulp.
I'm sipping. I'm enjoying as Francis Ford Coppola intended me to do in 2022, dude.
When he sold the company.
When he sold it, he was like, I will sell it under one condition. That's no gulping.
I don't know what that means. Sure.
And like, there are directors that I really love that are in the same exact boat, like John Carpenter. What was John Carpenter's last good movie?
Last great movie?
Yeah.
You could
Ghosts of Mars.
You could argue, no. You could argue either In the Mouth of Madness or Vampires.
Yeah, In the Mouth of Madness.
I would say it's not vampires.
It's not gonna be vampires.
It's the same thing to me, where it's like he made, you know, a bunch of movies I really, really love, and then he has had a career after that. I just don't follow it or care for it.
That is just
I hold the legacy.
The sands of
separate.
time, dude.
And so this movie got announced, and I was kind of like, I have not seen anything that makes me think this will be on the level of his other movies. I know that he's kind of making it sound like it's a return to form, and a lot of people are hyping it up.
That is like the marketing behind it.
I did not buy into that hype at all. I was like, it might have some interesting ideas, but I was not interested in watching it, period. I had no interest in seeing it. I told them, I was like, even when this comes on streaming, I probably won't ever watch it. Then Sam Slade was like, well, we're doing a review or I quit Uncle Mickey.
I did not say that.
Sam Slade pitched it as a $200 million whatever Neil Breen movie. And at this point in our YouTube careers, I have stopped trying to guess which videos will end up being
We never
entertaining
know.
or good. Yeah, I never fucking know.
So my thoughts going in. I actually did have an interest in seeing it. Alec actually at work was like, oh, Keegan, yeah, Thursday night we're seeing a movie. You're not going to be interested. It's a movie called Megalopolis. And I was like, Alec, I don't think you understand. I am going to see that movie. And unlike the three of you who watched a Francis Ford Coppola movie, I watched an Adam Driver movie.
Keegan does want to fuck Adam Driver.
Adam Driver is an actor I really enjoy watching his performances.
You're one of the people in the movie that wants to fuck Adam Driver.
I saw him in Annette. He did a great performance. I've seen him in other works. He's always done a
I
good
saw him
performance.
in a net.
I caught him in a net once. He got away.
Hey, get me out of here.
In the musical Annette.
I'm trapped.
That son of a bitch had a knife, cut himself out, got out pretty fast. I was like, wow, you're really
I
fast.
keep a pocket knife. Get me the fuck out of here.
I'll escape. Can't stop me, Keegan.
Away from me, Keegan.
He just knows who I am. This isn't the first time.
I'm trying to catch him in a net, dude. He's like, oh, no, get away from me. I got a knife this time. Back.
I heard negative things in reviews. I heard that there was a live performance at Cannes, and I was like, that's actually really interesting. I want to see what this is going. What's it called?
It's called Can.
Whatever. They've had more than one. There's Cannes.
This is some good wine.
Dude, that is 2022, dude.
You know what?
Fermented in the bottle.
Fermented in the bottle.
This is what John Voight must have been drinking the whole time. Is he was like, Coppola, hey, Frank.
Give me some of that wine.
Coppola. More like Gopola.
Keegan, you wanted to fuck Adam Driver?
Yeah, I just want to see Adam Driver.
There you go.
Lay out the Francis Ford Coppola movies you've seen.
First say all the ones you've seen completely.
Jack, the 1996 movie with Robin Williams.
And you've seen,
Megalopolis.
that's it. That's all you've seen.
I watched Apocalypse Now, and I was watching it, and I got up to the part where they got to like that end camp, and then I got to do my laundry, I think, and then I came back and I just wasn't interested, so I turned it off,
You stopped at the best part.
and then I just did something else in my life, and I've never gone back, so I call it Apocalypse Later.
You practiced that, didn't you?
You brewed that joke.
You brewed that, dude. You literally stopped at the part that like makes the movie, dude.
Yeah, like unironically,
That is like watching Rocky without finishing it with the fight.
you literally got to the part where the movie becomes a masterpiece, and we're like, nah.
Yeah. I also saw Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Strokers.
Like, dude, I don't give a fuck.
That one I feel like you would have seen.
But my mom was watching it, and so like I walked in, and I would be there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, this is boring and weird. And so then I would just leave the room and do something more important with my life, like fucking anything else.
Cuts to Keegan just standing in the corner of the room.
Keegan is a bona fide Francis Ford Coppola hater, apparently.
Yeah.
You would like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Look, dude, I would love Bram Stoker's Dracula.
No, that's what I'm saying. You'd love Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Where is the porno Bram Stoker's Dracula?
That's the one that I own that we're supposed to watch.
Oh, Keegan does own Bram Stoker's.
I do own a gay vampire porno that we're supposed to watch as a group.
Well, Keegan must have polished off most of that bottle. That's mostly Keegan.
Kevin, what just happened to you? What was happening to John Voight's character every time he had a line in this movie?
Megalopolis.
And it cracked me up every single time when he would start to say something and then someone would just talk over him and John Voight would just be like pathetically sitting there.
He was just. Oh, am I not in the scene? Long story short, you don't know any Coppola movies. This is your second Coppola movie.
Well, I watched The God Thumb, which is a parody of The Godfather where they used thumbs instead of people for the actors.
You didn't need to explain that.
It is perfectly clear.
They took this story and they boiled it down to like 30 minutes of what you actually need to know. So the fat guy eats cats. There's a lot of pennies that get thrown at a car.
So it's funny that you're saying this. This is literally none of this has to do with The Godfather.
Really funny that you're bringing that up because that is not in The Godfather.
If you actually thought that was in The Godfather, you were foolish.
Kevin, what were your thoughts going into Meg?
So my thoughts going
to
into
what Keegan calls
pennies.
Megalopolis.
I was very much in Sam Slade's position. I was looking forward to it only because it had been so long since Francis Ford Coppola had made a movie. Yeah, so I was looking forward to it.
I'm so sorry.
I started hearing the early stuff, and honestly, more than anything, I was curious. I was like, I have to know what he's been sitting on for like more than half of his career.
Like, yeah, I was just so excited hearing stuff like it's like a Neil Breen movie because I'm like, that's like he literally just had complete creative control.
Yes. Yeah. And the trailers were so weird.
Like every trailer was a different movie.
It's a mashup of like this Roman fairy tale with modern day New York, and like there's like so many things being smashed together that you're like in sci-fi.
Yeah, it looks like a Wachowski sisters movie.
Yes.
And you try to read the synopsis and it is unreadable garbage.
Like it's like if the Wachowskis teamed up with Yorgos Lanthimos. Like that's the best way I can just. And Neil Breen.
Neil Breen wrote it.
I went in basically open mind. I was like, I'm completely open to whatever this movie has to say or do, because it is entirely the vision of one person.
This is a real movie. Like it's made by a director and a writer who had something to say, and because of that, I found it infinitely more entertaining than like a lot of the more boring versions of movies that are trying to do kind of similar things.
Like studio garbage.
Yeah, studio garbage.
It's like watching a Neil Breen movie.
Yes.
Like it's that same
all
sort
of
of
its
feeling.
flaws are super revealing about the, like even the flaws reveal something about the character of the person making it.
Yes.
This was my favorite movie of 2024. I fucking loved this movie. Not for any of the reasons Francis Ford Coppola, I think, wanted me to.
It was intentionally funny sometimes.
It was intentionally funny sometimes.
There was a boner joke in it.
There's a good boner joke.
Probably the best boner joke in years, dude.
I was laughing a lot throughout this movie, and like belly laughing.
Yeah.
There's just so many like weird, awkward moments that I found so funny. Like there's a part early on when Adam Driver, what's her name?
Julia?
She comes in and she ruins his breakfast. And Lawrence Fishburne, they leave the scene and Lawrence Fishburne is just standing there for a solid like 30 seconds, just like awkwardly. For a second, I was like, did he forget to walk off set? Did he have a mark that he's just missing? Because he's not saying anything, he's just standing there.
No, Francis Ford Coppola was behind camera and he's like,
and then he takes a step forward and he has a like a voiceover, but there's like a couple seconds where it's just such a weird, awkward pause, and the movie's filled with moments like that are like weird little awkward things. It's long, boring, terribly written, up its own ass.
yes.
But all of
So
those
far.
things I found very charming about it because I never really knew where the movie was going.
The movie's basically going nowhere.
It's going nowhere.
Fast.
Like the biggest problem with this movie for me is
That there are none.
it's going somewhere so many times and like I like where this is going and then like it just stops and it's like, hey, do you want some bullshit? And I'm like, well, we had Steam.
There's so much bullshit in this movie.
And then it's just like, would you like Adam Driver just to say a bunch of nonsense?
There'll just be a Neil Breen level montage of just like, we're now just gonna cut to the Earth and there's a satellite coming. Oh, the satellite's gonna drop nuclear waste. Is that gonna matter? No, it's not gonna matter. The nuclear waste just dropped on the city. People are mad about it for 30 seconds and then it's...
Well, no, that was important, dude, because that allowed him to build more of Megalopolis because a lot of the city was destroyed. They also killed Dustin Hoffman in that scene.
he dies.
They're like, oh, Dustin Hoffman died. He's like, It's crushed by rocks.
There's a plot thread where Dustin Hoffman is told to take out Shia LaBeouf. He's like, Giancarlo Esposito, yeah, is like, hey, you got to take out Shia LaBeouf. He's like riling up the people or whatever. And Dustin Hoffman's like,
Okay.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman just goes, yeah, I'll do it.
He takes him 4 full minutes to stand up, and he's just like,
The camera cuts like 6 times just to get him to
he's
get
like,
up.
don't worry, I've been waiting to fuck him up for a long time. And then you don't see him for like 20
multiple
minutes,
scenes.
and you're like, I literally...
You forgot the plot point was even happening.
You forgot about that. And this is also a solid 20 minutes after the nuclear satellite fell. They're just like, oh, and by the way, Dustin Hoffman died doing that.
And then it cuts. That's it. That's how fast it
Getting crushed by rocks.
It is literally designed for comedy.
I also did not know Dustin Hoffman was alive. When he showed up, I literally turned to the guy, I was like, that guy's alive? Dustin Hoffman's alive?
That was Alec when Adrian was on screen.
Me too. Me too. I was like, Adrian's alive?
No, that's CG.
She died in Rocky Balboa.
I thought this movie was trash in the most beautiful way. It is... If I had to watch it again, I think I would hate it.
Yeah.
But
Nah, dude.
as a...
You watch it with a couple of these, dude?
The way Coppola intended.
Is this a method to sell bottles?
To be fair, there are some moments that I genuinely like, and that's what's weird about this movie. It'll hit you with like oh, that's a really cool moment. Like there's a scene where a kid just shoots somebody in the fucking face.
Yeah, I had a lot of complex emotions watching this movie because like there was points where I was like, this movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then there was points where I was like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, the steam is completely gone. They just stopped the train completely in front of me and I don't like this movie anymore. And then there was parts that were just so funny and so unintentionally funny too that just made me love it more.
Well, and this movie's a tonal mess.
Yes.
The best word I can use to describe this movie is sloppy.
Well, that's the thing that is so perplexing to me. It's not that perplexing. I'm just saying that to be hyperbolic because Francis Ford Coppola, at this point in his life and his age and everything, of course he's not going to make a movie like The Godfather again. Right. But I watched part of The Godfather this morning and I was like, man, this movie has one of the best openings to any movie ever. It has the perfect tone setter with that wedding and all the seedy stuff that happens on it. I was like, Francis Ford Coppola is one of the best directors of all time. And now it's like he completely does not sell what tone he's going
I don't
for.
even remember how this movie opened.
That's the biggest issue I've had with the movie.
What is the first scene of this movie?
It's him getting onto the ledge and then doing time stop.
Oh wait, he has time stopping
Yeah, he has
powers.
time-stopping powers that doesn't matter. Like, what?
Well, that's a Neil Breen thing. Okay, so the best way to watch this movie
Is drunk.
But also, if you go into it thinking it's a Neil Breen movie, like if you just tell yourself this is a big budget Neil Breen movie, so many of the decisions make so much more sense and are way more entertaining. Like the fact that the main character just has time travel powers and every female character wants to fuck him.
What you're saying is that if Neil Breen had the budget of Francis Ford Coppola, he'd be as good of a director as Francis Ford Coppola.
That is exactly
Exactly what I'm saying.
So he would make The Godfather Part 4.
Except it'd be better because Adam Driver's character would have been played by Neil Breen.
I did love Adam Driver in this movie. I thought he was so good.
Oh yeah, he's never done a bad performance in his life. He's not capable of doing it.
He is the best part. He's honestly probably the only one on set that understood the movie like Coppola did. This movie is exactly how Coppola wanted it, and I think it's also exactly how Adam Driver envisioned it.
These are great actors.
Yeah.
They can deliver great performances.
Basically, everyone in the movie was.
And they're just reading their script at the camera. Like at the beginning scene of Juliet when she ruins breakfast.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
There's a line that made me laugh out loud towards the end. But they're on the subway. There's a riot happening outside the mayor's office. They have a bodyguard on the subway. And the bodyguard walks up and he's like, wait, there's been some news.
There's been some news.
He sounds like a Skyrim NPC.
He comes up and he says, there's good news.
The streets are now clear.
It sounds like a Bethesda, a 2004 Bethesda line delivery.
They've been pushed back and Megalopolis has been completed.
The thing that I kept thinking throughout the whole movie, but I couldn't decide whether it was for or against the movie. But it felt like everyone in the movie got a different script. Like they're like, Shia LaBeouf, here's your script.
I was gonna say, Shia LaBeouf had no idea where he was.
No.
He was in a different movie.
He's like, act like a maniac. Fuck yeah!
The moment it felt like a real Neil Breen movie to me was at the end of that breakfast scene, and she's about to leave. Oh, yeah. And she says, I saw you break the laws of physics.
I saw you break the laws of physics.
I saw you change the laws of physics.
Does Adam Driver not need to obey T-symmetry?
Could it be the great Caesar Catalina doesn't obey anything, not even T-symmetry?
And then Adam Driver and Lawrence Fishburne stare at her for like 15 seconds uninterrupted. And I was like, this movie is a Neil Breen movie. I get what people were saying.
Programmable virtual reality, the corrupt version.
Who wants to polish this one off? Do you want me to
I
polish this off?
started a claw, so I'm not going to.
Okay, I guess Keegan's going for it.
Hell yeah. Ooh.
Drunkest one here. He's polishing it off.
crazier the performances were, I think those were my favorites.
They were also kind of felt more authentic when they were acting crazy.
Yeah, like they were in sync with the weirdness of the movie. I think the fewer standouts were the ones that weren't so weird. Like Giancarlo Esposito, when he was acting crazier, I was like, this is great.
That man is a megalomaniac.
One of the things with the dialogue is like it felt very theatrical.
Yeah.
Well, it felt theatrical in random parts when they started quoting
They would quote Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar and
Marcus Aurelius.
Who everyone has a history boner for.
I have a boner steak.
we'll talk about boners.
Best scene in the movie.
There's a lot of very theatrical style dialogue, especially like the monologues feel very theatrical.
Keegan was just cringing in his seat the entire movie whenever like someone just started. They just completely stop talking like a human and they start quoting.
And I fucking love theater, but I don't want to see it in my movie.
I actually had to look it up halfway through the movie. I was like, is this an adaptation of something? Because I actually thought maybe this is a play or a book because of how the dialogue's written. It feels like something that is written.
It's
for the
strange.
theater. Yeah, and it's delivered in a way where, like, if you're making a movie, you might be like, okay, I'm gonna change this line of dialogue because this sounds fucking weird. But it was being delivered in such a particular way that I was like, is he trying to like actually mimic a specific theater thing? And it's not. He just wrote it himself, and it's loosely based off of something that happened for real during the fall of Rome, from what I read. Like very loosely based off of some drama that happened towards the end of the Roman Empire. Outside of it's all Francis Ford Coppola.
That's the other issue I have is kind of like, so the beginning says like, it's a fable. And I was like, I'm on board with that. But the issue is a lot of it, I don't want to say is grounded. There's a lot of scenes that feel more grounded, and then it becomes less grounded, and then it becomes more grounded.
The exact same issue. They're doing too many things and not committing to enough of them. We're doing this, oh, it's Rome, but it's America thing. They have some things that are very Roman, and then they have some things that are very American, but it's like they don't pick one.
And then they'll do a bunch of stylistic things where they're like, let's do this comic booky thing where we're visually showing like something that's not physically happening.
But then we never come back to that.
And then like that just stops happening at some point.
It feels inconsistent, and that's the issue.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they're not picking a style. Oh, it's New Rome. It's not New York, even though it's. Like,
It is New York. It's just called New Rome.
He's living in the.
He was in the Chrysler.
He was in the goddamn Chrysler building.
That's the goddamn Chrysler building we're talking about.
There's so many of these elements that like they're not committing to enough, so that like it just doesn't work.
Something that I wanted to bring up earlier is that I wanted Keegan to join us tonight because I knew he would be master of plot. He would be able to fill in things that I might have questions on. So I do have a question. Why does Shia LaBeouf hate Adam Driver?
Oh, I don't know that either.
So I happen to know. To summarize why he does it, there's a line where the uncle Cassius says, "You have hated Caesar since you were 6 years old, and you've always tried to frame him." And it's because Shia LaBeouf's character is jealous of Adam Driver for being smarter and better than him in every single way.
I was thinking that was what it was, but there wasn't a real good concrete scene.
No, actually, I think there was a good scene because there was a scene that I enjoyed. It's when Adam Driver gets. We're in spoiler. Fucking spoiler. Scrap it. Adam Driver gets shot in the head, and he's recovering through magic.
Well, he's got Megalon in his head, dude.
Yeah, he's got Megalodon in his head.
He becomes the Messiah, dude.
They got all the heads.
So there's a scene where Shia LaBeouf is like, I wish I could have been the one that shot you. He's like,
I'm just kidding.
I had all the things that you had. I had the brains, I had the whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Adam Driver is like, creation. Because he can't talk because he's got shot in the head and he's recovering. And Shia LaBeouf doesn't know what he means. And I like that moment because it differentiates I think a flaw in Adam Driver's character, which is that he thinks he's above everyone.
Also, he's an incestuous fuck.
I agree with that scene kind of justifying his actions. It is like an hour and 40 minutes into the movie when he's been spending the entire movie being like, I hate that guy. And I'm like, what? Like, you're in a different movie. It feels like you're in a completely different movie.
Well,
and I wish I knew why you're doing the things you're doing.
I wish we were in his movie.
Earlier on, it was because he wanted to bang Julia. And the fact that Julia was following Caesar.
Yeah, that's true. He did want to bang Julia.
But in the beginning, it was weird to me because Julia was making out with Shia LaBeouf's sister?
Sisters.
Yeah.
The three of those other girls are all sisters.
I thought they were all just banging.
Well, the sisters and Shia LaBeouf were all banging.
But that's what's confusing to me. Is like everyone is just banging in the beginning. That I did not connect those dots that you did, which is that Shia LaBeouf wasn't banging.
Well, because he hits on her when she's getting into the police car and she's like, okay, whatever you say.
That didn't read for me, is all I'm saying.
Well, I read it more as she's a party animal, not that she's fucking around.
Until she's just not a party animal anymore.
Until that plot line gets dropped.
Well, Adam Driver says science is more important than partying. And so she's like,
like,
well,
you're right.
Adam Driver, your nose can fuck my face.
Your nose is bigger than most people's cocks, so.
He loves Coppola wine, apparently.
Yeah, it's great. It tastes
And
like
Adam
ass.
Driver's nose, dude.
It did not. That's good wine, dude.
It is not the best one.
No, dude, that's wine. That wine's good, dude. That's some good Coppola wine, dude.
If we're going sub $20 bottles of wine, that's in my bottom 30.
Really?
I don't think I've tried 30 wines, so I can't say for certain. Much like a Yorgos Lanthimos movie, I wanted to embrace the zaniness more. Like I said, if everyone was Shia LaBeouf, if everyone was Aubrey
Like
Plaza,
a Yorgos.
yeah, like a Yorgos Lanthimos, they're just fucking freaks, like everybody. But then you have Missandei of Nath, and she's
playing it pretty straight.
pretty straight.
She also becomes wife lady. Like,
Yeah,
literally, it's like
wife
she's
lady.
party animal, and then she becomes wife lady. And she's judging Adam Driver like, oh, you do drugs, Adam Driver?
Also, she steals his fucking drugs.
2 scenes later, she's like, he's doing drugs at this party. Ugh.
She's like recording it.
What an insane person.
Who would do drugs at a party?
Her recording that never comes back after that.
No,
scene.
her entire
There's so many things that don't ever come back. Like his time-stopping abilities.
His time-stopping
Why does that matter?
Him having a dead wife.
To be fair, it comes back.
Him
it just
having
doesn't
a dead
matter.
wife and Giancarlo Esposito investigating / like hiding evidence. That never comes back, really.
Anyways, Kevin, final thoughts.
Keegan just decided it's final thoughts time.
Keegan, you can't drive home right now anyway.
It's final thoughts, dude. I'm dual calling it. I've said pretty much everything I want to say. I didn't hate it because it was very funny. I can't hate a movie that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Whether it's ironic or on purpose.
And I would have to disagree with Alec. I think if I watched it again, I think I would laugh more. I think I would find it funnier than I did the first time. I think now when the movie starts, I would just start laughing immediately because I know what happens in the rest of the movie.
Imagine you're watching it and we're gonna pick up on so many other things that don't pay off.
You're gonna watch more things and be like, that never, look!
I forgot that happened.
So those are my final thoughts.
Well, what SpaceX would you give it? Because how do you rank a movie like this, made by an auteur?
This is truly made by an auteur.
It's like not a good movie,
But it's also not bad like Ant-Man and the Wasp 2. It's not bad in the same way, you know? It's like it's bad in the ways we love bad movies to be.
I'm about to do a rare thing.
Okay.
I'm about to go smack dab in the middle. 8 out of 10. I'm breaking the
That is
mold.
insane.
Wow.
I was not expecting that.
I was not expecting that. That sets a precedent for the rest of us too.
What do you got? What do you got now?
You want to hit us with your final thoughts?
Yeah. Remember when Giancarlo Esposito said, I can't believe it, my own daughter betrayed me. My own daughter, a traitor.
We have not even talked about the best scene in the movie, which is when John Voight, he suffered a stroke.
Francis Ford Coppola was like, how do we wrap this plot up?
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza and Shia LaBeouf are trying to take over John Voight's bank because he's the owner of this big bank. And so they do a hostile takeover, and during the hostile takeover, he has a stroke. And so they come to visit him like 2 scenes later.
And he's faking the stroke.
He's like, I have a stroke, I can't talk.
He's faking it.
You see in the pant region a very large,
Which they have
tent.
established earlier that the only thing bigger than his bank account,
was his cock.
the old man.
You see a large tent pitched, as they say.
And he's like, what can I say? I like Aubrey Plaza. She always gets me hard.
Well, because they were married, to be fair. And he's like, what can I say? What do you guys, great line. He's like, what do you guys think of this boner?
To be clear, so he says, "Hey, so what do you guys think of this boner I've got going on here? You see, do you like it? Do you think it's cool?"
This is the best scene in any movie.
And they're like, "Yeah, nice boner."
yeah, they're all
grab."
just like, yes, very, very good boner. Good job.
And he goes, "You see this? And it's not a boner. It's a bow and arrow. It's a bow and arrow.
It's a tiny bow and arrow.
That's this big.
And he shoots her right in the heart.
Like
Kills her instantly.
Kills her instantly.
Blood everywhere.
And Shia LaBeouf, instead of trying to disarm the old man, first he runs to Aubrey Plaza. He's like, no!
No!
And then, because I thought, like, he's done. Like the old man only had one arrow, of course. But then it cuts to John
Reloaded,
Voight.
dude.
He already got another arrow, and he shoots Shia LaBeouf right in the asshole.
And he runs away.
And then John Voight gets another shot right in his asshole.
Shia LaBeouf was running away because he knew John Voight was so good with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf was running away because his character is a coward.
Here's the thing that's funny. They've set up so many things that didn't pay off in that movie. Why didn't they set up one bow and arrow setup?
Yeah, that John Voight has a bow and arrow.
Like just have one scene where he's like, I love shooting.
And then John Voight, like any good Neil Breen character, is like, I'm gonna help the main character.
Because he's the goddamn
He's
best.
the goddamn best.
And he's a messiah, right?
And he is God.
He could stop time.
Because if you think about it, all the things that people hate him for are for no reason. He's actually a perfect person. Adam Driver is Neil Breen.
Yes. Final thoughts.
Do you want to say your eggs because you just had that whole thing, or do you want me to say my eggs because you cut me off?
You can go back to your eggs.
I would say this movie's not good. And this movie like pushed and pulled me a lot. Like there's a lot of parts where I genuinely liked it. A lot of parts I ironically liked it.
Bring out the eggs.
A lot of parts that I hated. And I was like, man, you're really just pulling the brakes on this movie for me when I was like really enjoying it. But I think it's very special. I don't think you can get an experience like this outside of Francis Ford Coppola and his age right now. So I'm gonna give it a 12 out of 12. Of course.
Hit us with the egg.
I thought this movie was a hot mess.
Your second Coppola movie.
My second full Coppola movie.
Does it stack up to Jack?
So far, every Coppola movie I've watched, including the ones I never finished, have all been boring. And this has continued that trend. So I'm gonna make a hypothesis that he just makes fucking boring movies.
I did want to mention Keegan turned to me a few times asking questions during, and he was like, is this guy like actually like a famous director? Like, or, am I getting that right? And I was like, no, yeah, he's like one of the most respected
He's like one of the
directors.
top respected
Like
directors.
he's like one of the best of all time. He's like, okay, I'm just making sure. Are you sure he's made a movie before? I was like, yeah, no, he has.
You're sure he's made a movie before?
Yeah, no, he's made like the best movies of all time. Yes.
Neil Breen was selling a film class, and I know at least one person has purchased it because that person was Francis Ford Coppola. It is just ideas that aren't fully
fully out.
kind of like my words.
Yeah, Keegan, did you write the script to this movie while drinking Coppola wine?
I was bored, but there was enough dumb shit I was semi-entertained. If you're drunk, it's great. Fucking 10 out of 12.
Wow.
I've been drinking.
10 out of 12.
He's been drinking. There you go.
That's a genuine rating right there.
I adore this movie, I think. This might be my favorite film we've ever reviewed on this channel.
This movie is sweet, dude.
Hear me out. Francis Ford Coppola, he's adorable. He is a pioneer in the YouTube filmmaking community space. There's an interview from I think it's from the fucking 90s, of him literally saying, predicting YouTube movies.
Just people who normally wouldn't make movies are going to be making them, and suddenly one day some little fat girl in Ohio is going to be the new Mozart, and make a beautiful film with her little father's camera recorder, and for once the so-called professionalism about movies will be destroyed forever, and it'll really become an art form.
Along the lines of what a lot of popular people on the YouTube filmmaking scene have said, which is in the future, movies will be able to be made by anybody, and I'm excited for that.
That's true. And his production company,
American Zoetrope.
they put that logo up at the very beginning, dude. That thing is still alive and kicking.
He's for making these small, weird movies
Outside of the studio system.
that are outside of the studio, and he funded this movie by himself. It's a passion project, and I'm here for
In
it.
every sense of the word.
Yeah, it is flawed in all of the best ways. The ways that I love a movie to be flawed.
Like a student film.
Yeah, like a student film. Or The Phantom Menace. I find all of the mistakes so charming. And it is bad. And I stand by what I said. I think rewatching this movie, I think I will just be bored. In the theater, I just had a big smile on my face for so much of the movie because it was so childlike in its exploration of what it was doing. Where it was just trying to find the it factor.
It was doing so much.
I think I said earlier that the best way to describe this movie is sloppy, but I found it endlessly entertainment in its exploration to find itself. I can't give it anything but a fucking 12 out of 12, baby.
That's positive score.
That is a positive score.
positive score.
If you're interested in movies that are weird and that are just like one person giving a crack, like the only difference between this and a Neil Breen movie to me literally is the budget.
If you're a film fan, this is a must-see. If you're not a film fan, skip it.
Please skip it.
On top of that,
Just see it.
It has a fucking stellar Adam Driver performance.
Oh yeah, Adam Driver's great.
Yeah.
He's never done a bad performance.
You actually look at the overall plot of the film, Giancarlo Esposito and Adam Driver, they kind of want a lot of the same things.
A big genuine flaw with the movie I was thinking about towards like the third act, I was like, this movie did a terrible job of setting up the drama and the tension and the...
Well, because they set up the drama in really lame monologues that the characters...
Where most of the movie I'm just like, why is this conflict even happening?
I adore this film. I hope to one day buy it on Blu-ray so I can watch the special features.
Oh, there will be some banger special features, dude.
I hope that this movie recoups Coppola's cost so he can buy back his winery.
Like driving here to review this from the theater, I was saddened. I was like, I don't like the idea of the man that directed The Godfather to get bankrupt himself making this movie.
We can joke about it all we want, but at the end of the day, like, Francis Ford Coppola, he has more money than us, but in reality, he's doing the same fucking thing we did. And I literally mean us with our last movie, Death Perception, and with a lot of low-budget filmmakers, where it's like he put himself in the same conundrum. So it's like, if you want to go around saying support independent filmmakers or whatever, this is the place.
This is the place to do it.
It's weird. I enjoyed pretty much all of it.
Not gonna get an experience like this anywhere else.
Yeah.
No?
Go see it in the theater.
Go see it if you're a film fan.
When it comes out, I'll buy it and I'll get it signed by Adam Driver. Keegan's got the hookup.
Yeah, Keegan's gonna net him up.
I'm not gonna sign your steelbook, Keegan!
You're wearing Godfather socks.
I am wearing Godfather socks.
Whoa, wait,
too.
you gotta show those to the camera, dude.
Yeah, Sam Slade was wearing what he hoped the movie would be. I wore what the movie actually was.